a champion, boxing and sports. In boxing, you find a way to lose or you find a way to win. Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury, not quite what we were expecting. They had a press conference today. We know they fight in a couple of days. I think there was just a lot of hype and a lot of excitement around these two actually finally being able to get face to face in front of a camera. Expecting to see some fireworks, a confrontation, guys kind of trash each other, and a way to kind of build the fight up, hype the fight up even more than it already is, just because of the two names fighting. However, that wasn't the case. The two fighters were very amicable, very pleasant. They actually shook hands. They spoke very highly of each other, and you can see that there's a friendship there. There's a bond. You know, years ago, back in I think 12 or 13, 2012 or 13, Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte, you know, sparred together. Dillian Whyte even went on to say that he feels that he helped build Tyson Fury into what he was with just all of the sparring sessions. And they trained together. There was a joke about them sleeping together, but what Tyson Fury was suggesting was that they slept in the same house or same, you know, a similar living arrangement, but they were all cohabitating as they worked together. Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte, and several other fighters to just train and spar and just help elevate each other. And it showed that there was some kind of bond there, because for all the trash that Tyson Fury talks and all the trash that Dillian Whyte talks, they didn't do that when they got in front of each other. But at the same time, it was a kind of awkwardness to it as well, because they know they're fighting. So Tyson Fury trying to break the ice and keep things really on a light, keep the atmosphere very light. Because at one moment, Big John Fury again, I did a video about this guy, like, why do people even listen to John Fury? And this is my thing. I know that Tyson Fury is his son, and his son is fighting, and I get it. There's a lot of emotions involved. Tyson Fury, his whole team feels like there's more Whyte could have done on the promotion. Whyte feels like, I'm not going to waste my time, take a couple of days out of me training in Portugal to come across, and there's really no true reason for me to be there. Also, when I feel like I'm not being treated fairly or equitable, and it's almost as if you because Frank Warren won the purse bid, Dillian Whyte was like, felt that maybe they thought that they owned him in a sense, or that because they won the purse bid, they could kind of dictate when Dillian Whyte moved and how he moved. And Dillian Whyte would understand, hey, look, he's a rude boy, he's a bad John. That's not going to happen. You're not going to tell me what to do. I move at my own pace. And he feels that people back him up into a corner, he's coming out swinging. He went on to say in another interview from today about how he's no punk. So he was toned down. Dillian Whyte was very toned down, but at the same time, you always feel that it's just a matter of time before there's a spark, and the spark turns into a damn forest fire. And you have acres and acres of trees and shit going down. But it didn't happen. And I just think when you look at this fight, I heard 94,000, right? Somebody said 98,000 today. So I don't know if there were another 4,000 seats released on top of the 94,000. And remember, that 94 was originally at 90. They bumped it up to another 4. And then I heard a figure today of 98,000. So, I mean, amazing. That's outstanding to get that many people in a stadium. And it's all sold out, 98,000. But as far as anybody who's hoping to see any chaos, any melee, any buffoonery, it's not going to happen. The most excitement we got is when they brought them together for a face-to-face. Tyson Fury's dad, Big John Fury, again, this guy needs to act his age and not his shoe size, set an example. He's the man's father, he has grandchildren, they all respect his age, respect what he did as far as just being a tough man. And nobody wants a problem with John Fury. These guys aren't afraid of him, but I think John Fury, his mind tells him he can still whip everybody. Or they say give everybody a hiding, right? He feels so he can go out there and still give everybody a hiding. But his body's not going to respond the way your mind wants it to. I go out there with my sons, whether it's playing basketball, we're playing soccer, or they're hitting the heavy bag, and I know what I want to do, especially when we're hitting the heavy bag and throwing combinations. And I just can't throw a jab left hand because I fought southpaw, dip and throw 3 hooks to the body, throw low, medium, and come up top. I used to be able to rattle that off like nothing. Man, the body just doesn't cooperate, and it's definitely not as fast as it used to be, and it doesn't look as smooth. But when I slow it down, then it comes off pretty good, but it's not the same. And I had to tell myself that like a couple months ago, like, man, this isn't it. So my sons are watching me and think it's amazing, but I'm like, boy, if you only knew. And I think with John Fury, he still thinks he can come out here and just, beat everybody and get into these bare knuckle brawls. And so he got into it with Dillian Whyte's brother, Dean. And John Fury said he felt that everything was fine, the guys were respectful, but when they got on stage, he said because that's his son and he was being protective, he felt that Dean Whyte came up the stairs and came towards Tyson Fury, to where Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte was standing. He was moving a little too fast for him. And it's like his hypervigilance kicked in, he became anxious, and that's why he went into this protective mode, which was, to make sure nothing was going to happen to Tyson Fury. And that's where things were about to escalate. And Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte both, like they read each other to just make sure they diffuse the situation real quick, because Dillian Whyte had a huge team with him. Then Tyson Fury, him, his dad, and his brothers alone is a huge team, but both of them have entourages, and the entourages start jawing at each other and everything, and it was going to go left real quick. But surprisingly, there's 2 cool heads that prevailed, and the 2 cool heads were Dillian Whyte and Tyson Fury. Now, I'll tell you this. I did a video where I said the calm before the Dillian Whyte, as far as a calm, I didn't think it was a calm before a storm. I thought it was a calm before he just totally loses his pulse. But now that, these guys are interacting more, we're getting to hear more from Dillian Whyte, more from Tyson Fury. People, this is really a calm before a storm. It's going to get ugly in that ring. Dillian Whyte, when he said, I have nothing to lose, he kind of clarified that. It's not like, I have nothing to lose, I don't care. No, it's like, I'm going in there, I'm doing whatever it takes to win. And what I took from that is, whatever the referee lets him get away with, and whether he can, grab Tyson Fury, twist his arm, push him into the ropes, get the forearm into his neck, because Dillian Whyte knows that he can't box Tyson Fury. Dillian Whyte keeps saying that he has to be a step ahead of Tyson Fury, and he knows what he's up against as far as his height, as far as his reach, his boxing ability, his IQ, and this newfound power. Conversely, Tyson Fury spoke very highly of Dillian Whyte, and I was surprised at that. But if you spend that much time together with somebody sparring, it doesn't matter how many years have gone by, you know what their strengths are, and you remember what they did good. And if power was one of them, you're going to remember that. And it doesn't matter what sport you're in, you're going to remember the athlete who did something great. And when it comes to boxing, where it's a really contact sport where you get punched in the face, you're going to remember if somebody hit you and hit you hard. So going into the fight, Dillian Whyte he has gotten better, but let's say Dillian Whyte may have slowed down, or he doesn't have the footwork he once had. But if that power was there, that's still going to be there. Good examples like Amir Khan. A lot of things with Amir Khan are just not the same. But that speed was there a long time ago. He's not quite as fast, but he's still fast. So Amir Khan will always be known, if any fight he gets in, is to watch out for his speed. Dillian Whyte, watch out for his power. But Tyson Fury, watch out for his boxing ability and ability to close the show if he chooses. So very exciting to see this fight Saturday. It's going to be a madhouse over there, man. Again, you know, back in the day when I was young, I would go to these kind of things, but man, I just can't handle the crowds anymore. But it's gonna be exciting. Absolutely, absolutely can't wait for it, man. But the only excitement out of that press conference today was just John Fury doing what John Fury does, getting everybody excited. He just needs to go sit down somewhere and relax, man. John Fury is a trip. But anyway, man, that's it for Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte. But I tell you what, the person who right now who's looking crazy is AJ. I'll do a video on that. I'm not gonna tie it all in here because this is just solely about the press conference today. So that being said, like and subscribe. I would appreciate it. Shout out to all the veterans. You guys keep safe. Thanks for the support. And as always, I'm in the breeze.